Anyway, we will now undertake a journey once again. Let's roll with wits. Go. Oh dear, a complication. Oh boy. Okay, Oracle, what kind of complication is this? Let's pay the price. Something has happened. The current situation worsens. Okay, I think this means, because it's a complication, this is something big, I think this is going to advance the threat. I'll say this advances the threat on this quest path. Either the plague or the environmental calamity. Something is happening. Let's roll to advance a threat. Oracle. Oh boy, and it's advancing twice. We're gonna have to mark 2 menace on this. Wow. Okay. Let's clear that one. And we go to our summary. We're going to mark 2 menace on this quest. So let us roll to see what is happening. So I think we're going to roll once for the plague and once for the environmental calamity. So let's roll for the plague first. Expands to new territory or communities, and the calamity blocks a path. Okay. So I think while Tamara is resting in this lodge and what's left of it, there is like a minor tremor, well, not so minor, but like a major tremor under the ground, and it causes like a bit of a rock slide, not on her side of the mountain, but around to the path that she has to take to get to the mine. So I think that will count as a point of progress lost on the journey, because the way that she was going to take to get to the mine of spring is now blocked. So she's going to have to go around it, and that's going to cost her time. And as far as the plague expanding to new territory or communities, that means there is another community close by that is probably going to be affected by this. We don't know where it is yet, but if we go to another community nearby, because the one that is next to the mine of spring is probably already infected, so any community beyond that is probably also going to have infections now. So when we get there, we will take note that the next settlement further south is going to be affected. Mournfield's a little too isolated for it to be that, but if there's another settlement like around here somewhere, that's probably where the plague is going to be spreading to. Because even after we contain this meteor, it's going to stop the spread of the plague, but the plague is still going to exist for a little while. It's just this constant energy from the Skystone that is causing the plague to spread further and further. But by getting rid of it, it will significantly slow the plague and will potentially have a chance of stopping it. So yeah, saying we're clear the radar there. Okay, wow, that was bad. That was very bad. Okay, so let's undertake the journey again. Let's see here. Bullets. Weak hit. Okay. Wow, that was that was an exceptionally low roll and an exceptionally high challenge die. So we will reach a waypoint and we will lose 1 supply. But rather spoiled this time. We haven't had to use supply so much. But yeah, we'll mark progress. And I think we can conclude this journey. Let's give it a try. Let's try and conclude it. Weak hit. Okay, so we will finish the journey, but there's going to be a complication when we reach the Mine of Spring. So there's got to be a community nearby the mine, I should think. So let's roll up a new settlement to put by the Mine of Spring. I'll drop a token down for it. Just pop it there. And we need a name for the settlement. Let's go to our oracles, and we shall find a name for it. Oracles. Quick settlement name. What's this place called? Stoneford. Okay. So let's put that in there. Okay, so text formatting in Roll20 is a little bit tricky because it snaps to the grid. So we'll say Stoneford and the Mine of Spring. They're basically one and the same there. So we'll do it like that. And because there is a complication at this place, let us find out what the settlement trouble is. There is an actual thing for this. Last time we used this was way back in the first session when we found out what was happening in Mournfield. Let's find out what's happening here. There's a dangerous discovery. So maybe this has something to do with the with the meteor itself. Maybe with the meteor crashing there, something has been found nearby, like has been uncovered because of the impact. They found something in the mine. Like people have been going down there and they've been trying to find something, and they did come across something in there. So what kind of discovery could this be? Let us say okay, so what kind of discovery could this be? Let's roll a theme for this discovery. What could it be? Balance. Balance. Okay, so maybe in this case the discovery is that with the impact from the meteor in the mine, there is, because of the earthquakes and the environmental calamity of the earth shaking, this has thrown the balance, like the town itself is on the verge of collapsing into itself. And the major discovery is that there is like part of the mine shaft has sort of like cracked, and there's been a split that's opened up underneath the town itself. This is a dangerous discovery indeed. And so it's not just the plague that is like being crazy there, and it's not just that things are shaking. The town itself is literally about to be like overbalanced and swallowed into the ground itself. So that is dangerous. And so when Tamara arrives here, she can see that the town is in the circle is in a state of panic. There's like people clamoring to the leader of the town. Let's see what kind of person is leading this town. So who is in charge of this town? Let's give them a name. Let's get a name for them. Tessa. Okay, so Tessa leads this town. So she is a leader, but like, what sort of qualifies her to be a leader? Maybe there's something in this list. Like, what role did she take? The farmer. Okay, so this is like a small farming community. They don't really have like any major authorities in charge, but Tessa is sort of the de facto leader. It's not a very well built town. It's just the farming, and then there's the miners like that would have worked in the mine of Spring. So it was probably like a very verdant area. So it started as a farming community, and then they found the mine, and they probably found it during the spring, like after a long winter, and the ice and snow had thawed out, and they were starting to regrow their crops. They came across this mine, and that's why it's called the Mine of Spring, because it proved to be very bountiful. And so Tessa is the de facto leader here. Let's give her a descriptor. She is suspicious, she is generous, and she is cowardly. Okay, so while she is the leader, she's obviously like a very skeptical person. She doesn't like, she probably doesn't like change. Like anything that's weird, she is immediately suspicious of, and this Skystone has probably thrown her completely for a loop, and that's where the cowardly comes in. She is more trying to, she doesn't want the town to be in like a huge panic, but it is, and she is completely out of her depth. Everyone is turning to her for help, and because she's generous, she wants to help them. She wants to give all she has to help this town, but she is so scared, she is so cowardly, she has no idea what to do. She is thrown for a loop completely. What is her current disposition? She is wanting. Yes, she wants help. She wants someone to come and take this off her hands. And what is she currently doing? She is observing. Okay, so everyone is sort of clamoring to Tessa's hut, and they're like hammering on her doors, and she is sort of like just, maybe she's got like a like an attic or something, and she's just kind of like looking out and sees all these people, but she's too scared to go out and face them. And Tamara, like as she comes into Stoneford and she sees this happening, and there's like little minor quakes happening as she's coming in, and she can hear the people yelling, That quake last night was too much. We heard the rocks coming down off the mountain. They're going to block the path completely soon. How are we going to get more supplies into the town? And people are, and someone else is yelling, like, you're supposed to be our leader. You're supposed to be helping us. What are we to do? And Tamara sort of marches into the town, and someone will spot her, and they'll see her shield, which has got the distinctive iron boss in the center, and someone will turn and say, "Look, it's a warden! One of the wardens has come!" And like immediately, everyone will turn, and they'll start like rushing up to Tamara. Well, some of them will. Some will sort of like stand back. Probably some of the older generation in the town will kind of like look at her with a bit of suspicion, because she is so tall, and she is carrying this very distinctive axe as well. They might start whispering amongst each other, like, "Is that a Skald? Is the Skald? Are the Skald coming back?" But the younger generation, who don't really know of the Skald, will rush to Tamara, and they'll be saying, "Please, Warden, help us. What are we to do? The town is collapsing in on itself. The Skystone fell. There's things coming and attacking us in the night." And Tamara's going to try and like hold up her hands and says, "Please be at peace, people. I am here to help. But I'm going to need everyone to please calm down. The panicking like this will get us nowhere. So let us try and compel them. Let's go over here. Let us compel them. Try and get them to calm down. So we'll roll with heart. See if this works. Strong hit. Okay. So Tamara, like her calming voice and her large presence, it's going to bump us on momentum up. So with her presence there, everyone sort of starts to calm down a little bit, and they're like, all right, the warden's here. Everything is going to be okay. Everything's going to be all right. We're going to be fine. And as the crowd sort of like starts to disperse a little, Tessa will open the door of her hut and kind of like poke her head around and peer at Tamara, who will walk up to the door and say, I take it you are the one who wears the iron circlet in this community. The iron circlet being the symbol of authority, even if they don't technically wear an iron circlet, because some communities might not. I'd assume Tessa would, because this has a mine nearby, so she probably would wear the iron circlet. It's usually saying wearing the iron circlet is an expression to signify the leader of a community, but poorer communities might not have an iron circlet. They might not be able to afford it. But given that this has a bountiful mine nearby, Tessa would definitely have one. And it's sort of like askew on her head, and she sort of like tries to adjust it a little bit. Says, "Yes, it is quite the burden these days. I take it that the wardens have finally learned of our plight. We've tried to send messengers, but there have been complications." And Tamara will nod sort of gravely. "I take it the hunting lodge on the other side of the mountain belongs to this community." And Tess will say, "Yes, what were you there? Have they returned? Did our message get out asking for help?" And Tamara will explain how the messengers were ambushed by the elves and slain, and Tessa will be overcome by this news. Of all the things to happen, first this stone falls from the sky, and then there's this plague that is taking the beasts and now the elves on top of it all. What are we to do? And Tamara will say, "That is why I'm here. I'm here to retrieve the stone. I'm here to retrieve the stone. If I can get to it, I can contain it, and I can put an end to this plague." And Tessa will say, "Well, that's all very well, but there's, even if the stone is gone, the town is still set to collapse. The tremors, the faults underneath the village. How are we going to prevent our town from collapsing?" And Tamara will say, "Perhaps you can't. Perhaps the only way to survive this would be to flee for now and merely observe. Because if the town does collapse, there would be no saving anyone still caught within it. But if you can reach safety, recuperate, and once the mine is clear of any danger, return, shore up the tunnels, and hopefully prevent the town from collapsing." And Tess will say, well, obviously, but where would we go? There's so many people here. How will we feed everyone? And Tamara will think about it for a minute and say, "I think I may know a place. Have you heard of the town of Rockbridge?" And Tess will say, "Rockbridge? That town died out years ago. I heard everyone perished. There was some disaster. I know not what, but there's nothing there." And Tamara will say, "There is someone there. And someone who will be very appreciative to be a guardian to more people once again." And Tess will say, oh, well, again, all very well, but how will we get there? It's dangerous out there, and there are very few fighters amongst us. And Tamara will say, I will do it. I will lead you to Rockbridge. And she takes out her shield, reaches over, puts her hand on the iron boss, and says to Tessa, I swear on iron that once I have retrieved the stone from the Mine of Spring, I will lead you to Rockbridge. I will take your people there where you will be safe. We are going to swear an iron vow to Tessa to help relocate her people to Rockbridge. Now, I don't really know how Saskia, the last remaining guardian of Rockbridge, would react, but I think she is lonely. Tamara did gather that she was lonely, and she is trying to prove a bit of a point. She can't leave Rockbridge without the settlement dying, but it's very abundant there, so people would have a good chance of surviving. So let us make the move to swear an iron vow. So let us. So we gotta write it down first. Let's go to our summary. So a new vow. Here we go. Escort the community of Stoneford to the safety of Rockbridge. And I think this will probably be a formidable vow. Once again, because it's a lot of people to move. It's not particularly far away to get them to Rockbridge. Not a long journey, but there are a lot of people. The terrain is okay, so I'm going to say this is a dangerous quest. Because it's not too far to Rockbridge. It's not a very long journey, but there are a lot of people to transport, to escort there. They'll probably have to gather resources along the way. Tamara will have to defend them. So it's going to be a dangerous quest. So we will swear this iron vow to Tessa. So let's roll for it. We'll swear an iron vow. And we shall do it with heart. It's a miss. Oh boy, of course it's a miss. I should have waited until I'd formed a bond with this community first. Okay. Well, we're going to lose a bit of momentum because of that. Good thing we got a lot of momentum. And so the obstacle is... Well, there's already an obstacle, isn't there? There is the meteor that has fallen into the mine. We got to get the meteor out first before we can get these people out of here. So I don't know. I think that could probably count. Although Tamara may have to convince... I think Tessa's word alone is not going to be enough. I think Tamara will probably have to convince more people in the community to leave before we can start making progress on the vow. So Tessa will say, it sounds like a great idea, but it's not going to be easy to convince all these people to just up and leave their homes. We've lived here for years. And Tamara will say, well, there's not much chance of living here for very longer. Tamara will say, there's not much sense in living here for much longer, especially if it's going to collapse. But I'm afraid I'll have to worry about that. But I'm afraid I can't worry about that right now. The first step is getting the stone out of the mine. Once I've done that, perhaps it will be easier to convince them to to leave. And Tessa will say, yes, you're right. If you can show them that you are truly sincere in helping us by containing this meteor, then perhaps they will listen to you. Tamara will say, where is the mine? Tamara will say, give me but a short time to prepare myself, and then I will go to the mines with all haste. So I think while we're here, Tamara's not going to sojourn. That's a bit much. But I think let's have her make camp. Like, because it's just going to be for a couple of hours. Although, could sojourning work? I mean, sojourn... Let's say... Oh, geez. If I'd sojourn first and then taking a quest... Oh, boy. I really need to think this through a little bit more next time. But yeah, I think I'll sojourn. Because she's going to spend time in the community. She's going to get what she needs to recover a little bit and be ready to go down to the mines. And these people will be willing to help her for that, I'm sure. So let's sojourn. And we'll do it with heart. Bullets. Oh! A strong hit. And an opportunity. You know what? I'm going to say, with that opportunity, I'm going to be able to do a second roll with a +1. Because I want to recover my spirit and my health. So I'll get a +2 on both of those. But then I can focus on one of the recover actions, and I will give myself a +1 to get a +2 more. So I can do that for my spirit, I think. So I'll roll again. This will be my opportunity. I'll roll with heart. I'll get a +1. And it's a miss. Okay, well, I'll still get the +2 health, but my spirit is not going to increase. There's really not much time to consort and build up. These people have no spirit to give. It's all so awful and confusing and scary. There's no way. But Tamara will still recuperate, get her health back. And now we shall descend into the Mine of Spring. We'll go to our sites. I have set it up. Here it is. This is a formidable site because it's a mine shaft. There's probably a lot of weird caverns and things around there. So once Tamara has recuperated, Tessa will point her in the direction of the mine, and Tamara can see like the area leading up towards the mine as she goes there. The ground has like churned up and it's rocky and broken, and any kind of abundance that was here before has just been obliterated by the impact. And as she approaches the where the mine shaft was, she can see just over the hill like a crater. It's not really. I mean, it's less of a crater and more of a hole because the stone sort of punched through, but it is a kind of hollow, almost like a sinkhole, where the stone impacted. But that kind of terrain is a bit too treacherous to go in, so Tamara's going to have to try and go in through the entrance to the mine shaft. And so she is going to descend into there, and we shall delve the depths. That's our moves here. We're going to delve the depths of this site, and let us envision where we are. So Oracle. Delve oracles. Let us roll. Sorry. Let's go to our site and go to our themes and domains. So it is a ravaged mine. So let us roll D100, see where we are. The features. So cramped tunnels makes sense. So and it's particularly cramped for Tamara because she is so tall. So she's kind of like picking her way through the tunnel, squeezing through, because it was already cramped before this place started to collapse. So let us delve the depths. Roll, and we're going to roll with wits because Tamara is all about those wits. See, weak hit. Okay. So we roll a D100 for a weak hit. The 38. Mark progress and reveal a danger. Ooh, okay, so she's going to meet opposition fairly early on. So let's go back to the site. Detail. We shall mark progress. Just the one, because it's a formidable site. And then we must reveal a danger. Roll. You encounter a hostile denizen. Jeez, we just got into this place and we're already fixing for a fight. So let's go over to go back to the site. And we're going to roll on the denizen table. D100. 35 is a chitter. Okay, so the chitter, let me call up the stats for a chitter. Stand by. Okay, so here is the chitter. So this is a large insect. So it's got a chitinous shell with mandibles. It tries to sniff out food, defends its nest. And they're usually scavengers, and they've got no eyes. They've got like holes in their heads that they use for like echolocation. It's that kind of, that's where they get their name from. It's that chittering sound that they use. So they're not necessarily hostile, but will aggressively defend their nests or fight to secure a food source. So maybe we don't have to fight this thing. Maybe Tamara can sort of like skirt around it and not have to fight. Fat chance of that. But maybe we can't. So it is a hostile denizen. So let us see. We go here. And I think Tamara will try to pacify it. Let's face danger. And she's going to try and stealth by it. Obviously, she's not very good at sneaking. The shadow roll may not work, but Tamara doesn't want to get in. If she fights this thing, she's probably going to attract more of them, and she doesn't want to do that. So let's just try and sneak past. You never know, we might get lucky. Weak hit. Okay, nice. So we'll lose a point of momentum for that. So Tamara is going to slow down. This is where her momentum's like coming down. She's going to slow down. She sees the chitter there, and she's going to tread very carefully, and she's going to just move around it. She sees it kind of like picking through the debris, and it's got that kind of sound going, but it doesn't appear to notice her. Treads very carefully and then moves on down the passageway. Whew, okay, good. So we're not fighting just yet. Right, okay. Right, so let us delve the depths once more. go. Up by that chitter. Let's go again. Strong hit. Nice. So we mark progress and find an opportunity. So we'll go to the site. And we'll mark progress. Then we shall find an opportunity. But let's find out where we are. What kind of features are we looking at here? P100, 68 on the features. Mineshaft. Okay, so this is where the cramped tunnel that was once the entrance sort of opens up into the shaft a bit more, and Tamara can see the like the scaffolding that's keeping the tunnel solid. It's keeping it fortified and secured as the mine shaft opens up a little bit more. So let us find an opportunity. What have we found? The terrain favors you, or you find a hidden path. Okay, so yes, this is the mine shaft opening up. It's more of a clear path for Tamara to follow. So now we can gain a momentum, or we can make a progress move. Well, a non-progress move. So I think we'll just take the momentum. There's not really much we can do to leverage the opportunity so much. So we'll just take a momentum, and then we will continue to delve the depths. Let's go. What do we got? Another strong hit. Okay. That's good. That's very good. Let us mark another bit of progress and roll to see where we are. What are we looking at here? Oops. 97. Ooh, something unusual or unexpected. Okay, well maybe this is the opportunity that we find. So let's go back and we'll find another opportunity and we'll see if that tells us something unusual. You locate an interesting or helpful object. Okay, so Tamara's found something. Something very valuable. Maybe. Okay, so this is something I've also been thinking about. The Sky Stone itself, there's something in it. Like the actual stone that is transmitting the plague is like unique in itself. There is this lump of whatever strange element is emitting the plague from it. But that might not have been the only thing the meteor was composed of, because you get different elements within the meteor. So maybe Tamara has found a bit of a piece of the Sky Stone that has sort of like fallen in from, that has like fallen down the mine shaft in the shakes, because it wouldn't just be the stone itself. Like bits of the meteor would have broken off as it fell, and it's just this one lump of this element that is primarily spreading the plague. But this other piece that's fallen off, there may be more pieces around here. Maybe this is star-forged black iron. Maybe this is a piece of black iron that Tamara could potentially have forged into something else. I like this. I like this a lot. So Tamara will see as she is hitting into the mine shaft, and she can see like part of the impact path where the meteor has fallen. Like it smashed through part of this mine shaft, and bits of it have like broken off, and she can see a few chunks of this black iron, the star-forged black iron, and so she will happily scoop those up, and put them in her pack because Starforged iron is exceptionally valuable, exceptionally strong as well. So I think we could probably have something made out of that at some point. I like that. Let's get a momentum for gaining insight, because now Tamara has seen the path of the meteor. Like, this is where it broke through. So she'll be able to follow that down somewhat. Okay, I like this. Ooh. Okay. So let us delve the depths once more. We're going to keep going down. Wits. Strong hit again. Lovely. Okay, progress. Whoops. Sight progress. Mark another point of progress there. And we're going to find another opportunity. This has been interesting. So, Oracle, what kind of opportunity do we find? Get the drop on a denizen. Ooh, okay. So let's roll to find out what kind of denizen we see. Then sights. And got our denizen table here. And we'll roll. 78. That is a trog. Okay, so what a trog is, let me call up the stats for the trog in a second. Stand by. Okay, here's your trog. So the trog is like a lizard man. Well, they're warm-blooded reptilian animals. So they're sort of like giant lizards that can occasionally stand up on their hind legs. They've got hunched backs with spines going down, serrated teeth like glimmering scales, and they've got a strong bite. They can see in the dark, and they dig through the tunnels. So there's probably this trog that has been digging around, also trying to find valuables and things and food and stuff inside the tunnels, and it's broken through into the mine shaft. But it hasn't noticed Tamara yet. So what's that? So Tamara has the drop on a denizen. Again, Tamara is not here to fight. So I think she's going to try and sneak by, and because of the opportunity, we will get a +1 on the roll. So let's see if we can try and sneak by this trog. Let's face danger. We're going to roll with shadow. I'm going to get a +1 because of our opportunity. It's a miss, but we have momentum. We can burn momentum. Oh, this is why we save up the momentum. So, yes, we can burn momentum for a weak hit. Burn it. Do it. Okay. So I think what Tamara is going to do, it says we got to, it's a weak hit, so I've got to face a troublesome cost. So I think what Tamara is going to do, she is going to drop a supply. She's going to take some of her food supplies and she's going to sort of like toss them out to the side to distract the trog. And the trog is going to like, it kind of looks around and it smells the food and it kind of like goes over to it to check it out. And Tamara will be able to sneak by and head down into the shaft a bit more. Okay, so I believe there was something else with that finding an opportunity. Yeah, we get a +1 momentum on the hit. So I do get 1 momentum back from that. Okay, fantastic.